All right, recording? All good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Welcome back. Counter Coach episode 8. Derek, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. It's going really well. How about you, man?
It's going great. Going fantastic. You ready for this one?
Yeah. It should be super exciting, I think since it's really, building up steam and the culture we live in today, I think it's going to be super exciting to have a conversation about it. And you know what the funny part is? Like, a lot of people now don't even realize that it could be like in a sense, like this type of new age teaching, since it's just so widespread, even somewhat throughout the church too.
Right. Yeah. Well, we can start off with this article right here that really I think explains the phenomenon. Well, I guess you could call it a phenomenon, and it's titled "Is a New Kind of Religion Forming on the Internet?" And it talks about how, especially on TikTok, there's a lot of this new age spiritualism that is coming about. It starts off talking about what happened at Astro World, where all those people were like trampled and died, and people were talking about the satanic symbolism and the demonic stuff that was going on. And it goes on to talk about other conspiracy spiritual type accounts on TikTok. And right here it says her beliefs are reminiscent of many others on the internet. People who speak of bad vibes, spiritual or demonic spirits, or a cosmic calamity looming over the horizon, one that the government may be trying to keep secret. This is the interesting part. Juarez tells me she was raised Christian, although at age 19, she began to have a more personal relationship with God outside of organized religion. Today, she identifies more as spiritual, as an increasing number of young people do. Many of them working out their ideas in real time online. And then it gives an example. They may talk about manifesting their dreams, which is another interesting thing that this picks up on, which is the idea of manifestation, which is all kind of tied into this, like I said before, new age spiritualism online. And talks about how this kind of has its roots, at least modern, in this book The Secret from 2006, which was received with mockery at the time and was kind of made fun of. But like this article says, it doesn't take much critical thought to understand why The Secret and books like it, like The Power of Positive Thinking and The Science of Getting Rich and Think and Grow Rich, are so popular. They offer a portrait of the world that's extraordinarily alluring, one where the only obstacle to achieving every dream we might have is to focus very hard on it, as though pretending like we're already gorgeous, successful, and deliriously happy human beings will make it real. Which is why, more than a decade after The Secret, a new generation is discovering its central thesis, except this time on social media. This is where it gets into the manifesting part. On TikTok, teenagers share stories about how scripting, or repeatedly writing down a wish, caused a crush to finally like them back. On YouTube, vloggers lead tutorials on how to properly manifest your dream future. And this one is the one I see 24/7. On Instagram, someone will write that $20,000 will soon land in your hands. All you have to do is comment, yes. Posts exactly like this. I see them all the time. And you go in the comments and they're filled with people saying yes or amen. And a lot of Christian posts that do this too. I used to follow a lot of of Christian pages that would post scripture or kind of, affirmation type things. And they would their caption would always be like, if you love God, or if you're a real Christian, or if you want this to become true in your life, then type amen in the comments, and it was always full of that. And I used to always actually do that. This was when I was like in middle school probably. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's not going to be true. These verses aren't going to come true in my life if I don't type amen. And, so this is something that's really gained popularity on social media through posts like that. And this is an interesting stat they give. Manifesting, or the practice of thinking aspirational thoughts with the purpose of making them real, has never been more popular. From March to mid-July, in 4 months during quarantine, which is not a coincidence, Google searches for the term manifesting skyrocketed almost 700%, which is actually crazy. And it talks about how this coincides, even though during quarantine it skyrocketed like that. For the past few years, all these type of typical new age practices like crystals, essential oils, tarots, and energy wavelengths, they've all been becoming more and more popular. And this attributes it to the fact that during quarantine, with this whole pandemic going on, it gives people a way to feel like they have control over something when in a time when we're very powerless to do anything. And all you need to do is dream and think about how nice it would be if your dreams came true. So yeah, any thoughts on that, Derek? Anything else that I'm missing here? I mean, there's lots of details. This talks about the whole connecting to the spiritual world, writing certain things a certain amount of times, angel numbers, it talks about crystals. There's so many details to all of this. But is there anything I'm missing specifically?
I mean, I guess I'd probably say no, but I mean, I think one thing that we could also basically manifestations like kind of also based on the law of attraction, which is super big. I see it in the business world a lot, where if you think positive, like positive will happen, or if you, in a sense, if you think negative, then something negative is going to happen, which, I mean, it could be true in a sense, but I wouldn't say it would reveal the whole truth, which manifestation doesn't, or astrology, or law of attraction, or just new age teachings, and I guess the whole retrospect, like over the whole movement that's become really popular. And I think the only reason it's really became popular is because like people our age,
right?
So I hear it all the time, like something stupid like read my palms. Like they go to people to read their palms, and I guess it tells them their future. And I'm like, that's kind of it's like, that's kind of like one. It seems super weird, but like at the other time, well, what happen if they say all this stuff and one thing comes true out of like the 20
right.
things they've said? Like, I mean, someone's gonna jump at that and be like, dude, no way. And then guess what? They tell their friends, and it spreads like that. And with the internet getting more popular, and you were saying like over quarantine, like people were on the internet more, and I would probably say like very depressing time for everyone, and they wanted to find something in a sense to bring, I guess, could I say positivity in life? Probably.
Yeah.
Just something, some good news, something that would go in their favor instead of hearing like all the crap that was going on between. Did that say March of 2020 to July of 2020? Or?
Yeah, basically from the start of quarantine to roughly the end of quarantine, if it's even really over. But
yeah, and I really find it interesting also on the point, like, I find it like the lady says, well, I finally felt connected to God after leaving organized religion. I find that super interesting. I feel like a lot of people do that,
Yeah.
And it's like usually those people are the ones who are like, I guess you could say universalist, where they think, is that universalist or is that plural?
Yeah, like the Unitarian Universalists, where they kind of think it's all.
Yeah.
All religions have a.
Yeah.
The same
and
truth.
I'm kind of getting. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of also getting like I don't know why, like a Buddhist vibe and a Hindu vibe from New Age. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean,
but
a lot of the New
like,
Age religion is based on a lot of, so-called like Eastern ideas, that a lot of Buddhists and Hindu religions get into. But it's becoming very popular, especially among people our age, because like it's saying, it said a new form of religion is forming on the internet and on social media. And the primary creators, basically 100% of the culture of social media is created by our generation. If something's popular on social media, it's popular in our generation. Those two things are basically synonymous, because we Gen Z and millennials to some extent kind of run the show online and on social media with a lot of the things that become majorly popular. And so when it becomes popular to us, it becomes popular on the internet, and vice versa. And this stuff in general with new age religion has all been becoming so popular. And we can actually watch this TikTok where she actually describes how everything in our lives are manifested. Everything that's already happened to us has been subconsciously manifested. So whether or not we're actually intentionally manifesting something, everything in our life has been manifested up to this point.
You just manifested this video without even realizing it. In fact, you've manifested pretty much everything into your life up to this point. The law of attraction is just the conscious choice to start using that ability to your advantage.
Yeah, that's basically it. That's basically just bringing things in your mind that you want to be true into reality. And
I mean,
yeah.
You see her comment on her post was like, I manifested this text in 30 minutes, or when I was making that video, like,
oh yeah, it says I was manifesting a text from someone while I made this video. I got the text 30 seconds later. Bro, it's real. This is real, bro.
Dude, I'm just like, what if she sent the text and like that person's a quick typer, like
yeah, she sent a text and then was manifesting. Please respond, and they did.
I feel like there's just so much superstition around it. I don't know why. You know,
it's
kinda,
all superstition.
It gives me that hippie vibe.
Well,
it gives me really that hippie vibes.
That's the whole
80s,
new age
70s.
stuff started in the 60s and 70s, and that's 100% where it's from.
But don't you think though, like now, like we're kind of transitioning back into like that hippie peace vibe, you know, as like a culture, you would say, even though we're more like, it's like more cutthroat today, but like it seems like people want to, oh, peace, dude, make peace, like that, just hippie vibe, and it's weird. I manifested that thought.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who are on that. And I don't even, a lot of girls specifically who are like that. And this city talks about how it's much more popular with women than it is with men. The whole new age belief system of astrology and spiritual energies and manifestation, all that stuff. And I mean, if you search manifesting on TikTok, 100% of the videos on there are by girls. And it's weird that a lot of what we end up talking about, things with like self-love culture, abortion, astrology, it's a lot of it's targeted at women. It's kind of weird that a lot of this messed up stuff is targeted so heavily at women. Is it weird?
You know why?
It's a weird pattern. Why is it? Tell me why.
It's because women are selfish. They care only about themselves. No, I'm just playing. No, I mean, I do find that very interesting. And I mean, you're right. Like everything, like every person I know somewhat who's kind of dived into that, like, is a woman.
Yeah.
I never hear any men doing it. I bet you that would be like a really cool. I wonder if there's studies out from that. I mean, it probably has to.
There probably is. I right about how popular it is between men and women. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like, because that is right. Like all these events, dude. That's crazy. Actually, I didn't think about that. That is.
There are probably just as many things that are being targeted at men, and I think there 100% are. I mean, the whole topic of proper manhood, I guess, is a completely other topic because that's being attacked just as much. But it's just interesting that a lot of this stuff has, I mean, statistically been so much more targeted at women. But yeah, the whole astrology thing is what I wanted to focus on, because that specifically is what is most popular, I think. Like manifestation is kind of a more niche thing. You know, a lot of people would not be on that. But I mean, it is so common for people to believe in, astrology, the whole like zodiac sign thing, like that's all super, super common. I mean, I feel like the majority of people that I know, at least the majority of like girls that I know, are into that or believe in it to some degree. And even if like I said, manifestation is a little more niche. The whole idea of you just imagine that your dreams are coming true and then they come true. You can be a millionaire and your soulmate can just walk through the door right now. That whole idea is a little more out there, but the idea of astrology and star signs and all that is so common. That's so popular.
I mean, the reason why is there's so many personality tests now. Like, aren't there a bunch of personality tests with that?
Yeah.
I was looking up before, like, showing what I am, yeah. And I mean, like, for people, like, they want, in a sense, to know, identity, I would say. What is my identity?
Right.
And I think that's a key factor, because, like, reading that, it was kind of showing, well, my identity as a person, so... Yeah, maybe I do agree that, I'm an attractive male. I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's what Derek's zodiac sign said about him. He said he's an attractive male. That's the truth it gave him.
But I just think it's really an identity issue in our culture. I really, looking at it and like trying to find who we are. And I mean, isn't that like how anything is? Like our search for meaning and our search for who we are in life, from point A when we're born and point B when we die. And it's weird, like, I don't know, like, how someone could put, I guess we could get in it later, but like how they could put faith in something so very unstable, I'd say. Because I mean, me reading through that, I probably disagreed with probably half the points. Yeah, there's some true points, but like half the points didn't describe me at all. So I mean, like, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. It is interesting, people, but I think the reason people can put so much faith in it is because of what you were just saying, the fact that it is about the search for meaning and the search for identity, because that's what everybody craves. Everybody wants a purpose, everyone wants meaning, everyone wants to find out who they are and what they're all about. And so then these answers come out where they're like, just based on the day you were born, I can tell you who you are, I can give you your identity, I can tell you what group you belong to, and then you can compare yourself to other groups, and it can become, and that's how we as humans are comfortable. We're comfortable in groups. We're comfortable comparing ourselves to other groups. We're comfortable when we can find an identity, something to define us. And for us, throughout human history, in the West especially, it's been centered around, the driving force of kind of our civilization the past thousands of years has been Christ, has been Christianity. Mm-hmm. And that's where we found our identity, and that's where Christians today find their identity. We find all of that. We find a group, we find a belief system, we find truth, we find something with which to identify ourselves and compare ourselves to others, and a lens with which to view the world. And that's where we find our truth and our identity. And that's what human beings need. That's what we are always searching for. And it's funny how these people will say that atheists, and they talk about how they don't believe in anything, they don't believe in any God, and they're not part of any religion or whatever. But this type of stuff is just as much of a religion as any of it, as Christianity is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody, we talked about this in the last episode, everybody serves somebody. Everybody is going to devote themselves to a God. Everyone has a God. Whether your God is the true God, whether your God is this God, that God from these different religions, to even the more, we think of that when we think of like, well, Islam has their God, and Christianity has their God, and Buddhism has their form of God, but then there are atheists who just don't have a God, and there are spiritualists who don't really have a God, they just kind of believe in the universe. But those are gods, right? Those are things people serve. That's what human beings, it's in our nature. We're all going to serve somebody. And so I think this is what happens when we take a society and we remove our God, the one true God, from the picture. Nature, especially in regards to who we're worshiping as human beings, because it's so fundamental, but nature in general hates a vacuum. Something's going to fill that vacuum when you remove God from being the object of our societal worship. And things like this are going to take its place because we want to serve somebody, we want to find truth, that's what we crave, and so we're going to find it somewhere, even if it's not legit, obviously.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing, like, why, I think everyone wants, in a sense, with the New Age teachings, whether that's astrology, manifestation, just overall, in a sense, like, humans crave to be their own God, They want to be their own, they want to be the God of their own universe.
Right.
And we don't want anyone. We want to be above God. And that's basically how, like, this New Age kind of teaching goes, how you can definitely find your identity in yourself, or you can say what your identity, like, in a sense, is based on your own thoughts, like what you think will happen. And basically you can make a perfect, little world for yourself throughout this world by thinking certain things or looking at stars, I guess. And I think that's just really draws back to our sinful nature of exalting ourselves over God, in a sense. And you could also say, like, with the stars things, like, people are more likely, like, today, like, in a sense, to, I'm saying in the sense a lot, I should stop that, but, like, to say, like, to worship creation rather than the creator,
Right.
So,
that's
like,
actually that verse is what I was really going to focus on, because the whole astrology thing, which is the main point, the main part of all this, really, because it's the most popular, is what you just alluded to, which is Romans 1. What is that verse? The verse where Paul says they worship the creature rather than the creator, and God gives us over to our desires in that sense. It's Romans 1:25.
End of Romans 1.
Yeah. And they say that because they knew God, although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God, nor were thankful, but became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. That's 21, and then in 24 it says, therefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness in the lusts of their hearts to dishonor their bodies among themselves. This is the main part. Who exchanged the truth of God for a lie, and worshipped and served the creature, the created thing, rather than the creator. And that's really what it's all about. And that's why throughout the Bible, from the very beginning, from the Old Testament, astrology and things like that, things of the occult, but especially astrology, has been condemned by God, and God said that it's wrong, and that was the practice of the Gentiles and the pagans surrounding the people of Israel in the Old Testament. And that's when God brought them into the new, what was it even called? Into Canaan, into the promised land. Then God said, you're going to look around you and you're going to see all the nations around you doing all these things, and you're not to be like them, right? That's what God said. Yeah. And that's what God said in Deuteronomy 4. I have the verse. He said, and take heed lest your eyes lift to heaven, and when you see the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the hosts of heaven, you feel driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord your God has given to all the peoples under the whole heavens as a heritage. God acknowledges that this is a temptation, and this is what the people around you are doing, in the nations around you that are evil nations. It says it again in Jeremiah. He says, thus says the Lord, learn not the way of the nations, nor be dismayed at the signs of the heavens, because the nations are dismayed at them. God's saying, you are my chosen people, separated off from the rest of the nations of the world. Don't act like them. When they look at the sun, the moon, and the stars, they marvel and they're in awe at the wonders of heaven, and then they worship that. They are what Romans 1 describes. Yeah. They worship the creation rather than the creator. And God's saying, you're not to be like that. You know the truth. You know where all of this comes from. You know who put the stars in their place, and that's me. And so your worship is for me, not for what I've created. Don't be like the other nations in awe of them. I gave you the heavens. And I think especially in Job 9, when I believe it's Job 9, when Job is, driven to his wit's end. His whole story is one of great suffering, and he finally just questions God. He's like, "Why?" This is what we actually read part of this during the abortion episode.
Yeah.
When we were talking about the sovereignty of God. This is what God says. God is like, the whole of creation, all of the stars and sun and moon, I put them in their place. I created all of this. From the beginning of creation, I was there. And that's how great God is. Why would you worship the creation rather than the creator? And that's why it's condemned from the beginning. It always has been.
Yeah, and we could also say, like, these teachings where you're saying, well, these stars or whatever you call it can predict your life. Like,
right.
They also deny, like, in a sense, like, God's sovereignty over the world.
Right.
So basically, they deny his sovereignty, and basically, when people do this, they're like, even Christians do this, but like, they're putting their faith, they have misplaced faith, in something. Like,
right.
We were saying in the beginning, like, with the saying how, like, there's truth sprinkled into, like, every single religion, in a sense, like, every single belief, but that's just part of the truth. That's not the whole truth. That's not reality. Because, like, we believe, like, there's absolute truth, and we feel like, Christian worldview, biblical worldview is that absolute truth. And that absolute truth has, people, in a sense, like, you could say, well, there's some of that truth sprinkled into Islam or New Age or all this, which is true, but that doesn't still, all because it has some truth, still it's only some truth. It's still, in a sense, false because it's not the whole truth.
Right.
And I think people have to really notice that and really think about it,
Yeah. There's only one place to get the full truth, the full concept of reality, and that's the Bible. And what the Bible says about the Israelites, what God was saying to the Israelites about being separated off from the other nations, is exactly what he's saying to us. It directly applies to us, because we look around us and we see the peoples of the world being in awe of and worshiping as if it were God and as if it were sovereign, the stars and the constellations and all this, and a million different things. I mean, we worship basically everything except God in this world. But specifically with this, you might as well just substitute, you might as well just put in the word Christian here. Like, from Deuteronomy 4, when it says, and take heed, you just put in, and take heed, Christians living in 2022, lest you lift your eyes to heaven and worship creation, just like the nations around you are doing. That is what the people around us are doing. And God's saying, no, you are my chosen, holy and separate from the rest of the world. You know where true, ultimate truth comes from, and that's me. And you're not to be like them. You're not to be like the people of the world. Yeah. Because you know the Creator.
Yeah, and again, we're supposed to be set apart from the world. And, like, I can see why people fall so easily in the trap. Like you were saying at the beginning with, like, social media. It's like Christian social medias, post stuff like that. And it's just so, like, it's, like, sprinkled in, in a sense. Like, it's kind of sprinkled in. But, like, you have kids growing up now who, I don't think they critically think through things a lot of times, especially younger people. Facts. Like, I didn't critically think, I still kind of, don't, but I'm trying my best to. But guess what? TikTok's huge. I would say TikTok may be, like, the amount of false religions that go on TikTok every single day is, or false posts, but just false anything is crazy. And you have little kids seeing that, even if they are Christian, even though if they're growing up in a Christian household, like, parents can't control what they see. They can control saying they don't have it, but parents usually don't. So it's really this free range, and they see this, and it's like, even though it's like kind of sprinkle, like, a 15-second clip, like, that builds up over time, and then you, like, in a sense, like, it's Romans 12 too, like where it's like the renewal of the mind, like don't be conformed to like the thinking of this world.
Oh, right.
And, you know, and like, you know, in a sense, some things on the New Age are true, but it's like on the basis of, I was reading something how like God created us with like feelings, you know. I mean, it's like the Christian, like you're gonna dwell on the truth. Like if you dwell on the truth, and you dwell like in a sense like on what the Bible says, doesn't, you know, it doesn't make your life better in a sense, but like kind of conforms your mind to that truth. You know?
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. Like the Bible tells us to fill our minds with Christ. Like it says, take our thoughts captive and fill our minds with Christ in the truth and Scripture. And then that does have a practical, tangible result in our life. Like that has a manifest result. So the things that go on up here do have a real world effect, you know, like by because the spiritual world is real, and the things that go on in our spirit and how we posture our spirit and the direction of our hearts does have a manifest impact on the world and on our lives day to day. And so you're right when you say that this new age manifestation type thing, it does have a basis in reality, in that basic fact that we are spiritual beings, and the spiritual world has an impact on the physical world, and how we use our spirit has an impact on our physical, real, external lives. So it is based on a true fact, but it's warping it, and it's filling your spirit with things that are bad, you know, as opposed to filling your spirit with. And instead of meditating on Christ and Scripture, they're meditating on their own selfish dreams, what they want, you know, like half these manifesting TikToks, and we'll actually just go through and just watch some because they're very entertaining and really funny actually. Half of them are like this one, literally the big bold lettering on the thumbnail of the TikTok is "Get them to text you tonight," and this one is "He will be addicted to you," and it's like it preys on these most base desires that we all have. To get that girl or get that guy to text us, or to get $1 million, or to get that life that we dream of. So it's taking truth, and this is what all good lies do to have a basis of truth. I mean, what did Satan tell? I mean, the first lie, the father of lies, the lies that he told Adam and Eve were based on truth. They were based on.
They twisted.
Yeah, they were. He says you will. Eve says, "Well, God said if we eat the fruit, then we'll die." And he says, "You will not surely die. You'll become like God, knowing good from evil." That was true. That was true that they wouldn't die physically instantly, and that they would, in a sense, become similar to God in the sense of understanding good and evil to a certain extent. But it was a perversion of the truth, and it was, you know, leaving out the facts that we will spiritually die and we will physically die, and you know, so that's all good lies. And so this lie is based on the truth that there is a spiritual world that affects the physical world, and what you do with your mind affects your reality, but it totally alters it. So I think you were onto it there.
Yeah. But one point before we move on to the next thing, see, like, I like the meditation. You know, when Christians meditate, we're called to meditate on Christ, you know, but when the New Age, in a sense, like when they meditate, they want to meditate on one's, like, in a sense, themselves, their selfish ambitions, their selfish things. They don't ask for, like, I never see like a New Age person or person meditate on, well, I want to be more gracious. I want to be sanctified. It's usually selfish desires. Like, I want to make a bunch of money. I want to run this successful business and all that. And I'm like saying to myself, like, how, like they, I don't know if they say it's not a selfish religion. I mean,
they in a sense they admit that, because we'll have to do an episode maybe we'll have to do something where we talk about Satanism, because Satanism is something that's really popular now as well. You know, you had back in what was it, 2017 maybe, when Brett Kavanaugh was being confirmed to Supreme Court, and you had these group of witches that were outside of the Supreme Court, and they were doing a satanic hex ritual to put a hex on the Supreme Court, and they were doing all this stuff. And you have now, especially with the Supreme Court cases and laws that are challenging Roe v. Wade and all the abortion laws and trying to restrict abortion access, you have in Texas, this went viral when the Church of Satan, or whatever they call themselves, the Satanic Temple, I think is what it's called, and they were saying that abortion is a satanic ritual that is essential to our religion, and so we are exempt from laws that restrict abortion because this is a ritual of our religion, and our religious freedom allows us to perform abortions. And so they were saying any women from Texas who need abortions, who need to murder their child, come to us and we'll perform an abortion ritual on you because we're gonna sue them for our religious freedom if we don't, and so this type of stuff. And I see actually on TikTok a lot of like Satanists and stuff. It's becoming really prevalent, and what they say is that they don't actually believe in Satan because they don't believe in the whole dichotomy, God and Satan, good and evil, that sort of thing. They don't believe in Satan. They believe in themselves. They say they say that Satanism isn't the worship of Satan. They say Satanism isn't actually us worshiping Satan. We don't even believe in Satan. We're just worshiping ourselves, and it's kind of a gotcha, clever little like, we are using your religious freedom stuff. We don't even believe in all this stuff. It's really just, they worship themselves. But they, like you said, is it a religion of selfishness? Yes, it is. And they're kind of admitting that. But what they don't realize is that the essence of Satanism is the worship of self. Satanism, at its core, has never been about worshiping Satan. So let's take the first instance in human history where humanity chose to side with Satan and reject God. That's what Adam and Eve did, right? That wasn't about them worshiping Satan. That was about them worshiping themselves. That was about them saying, I want to be like God. I want to know good from evil. I want my wisdom to become like God. It was self-worship. Yeah. What did Satan do? Satan was worshiping himself. Satan, the whole, the central thesis of who Satan is, his character, is the worship of self. That's why he was cast out of heaven, because he worshipped himself above God, and then he got Adam and Eve to worship themselves above God. And so they think they're being clever when they say, oh, Satanism, we don't even believe in Satan. We're just worshiping ourselves, and we just use the title of Satanism to get those religious freedom laws. That's the essence of Satanism, is the worship of self. They don't even realize that it's like, yes, it's like you're so close, but you're so far away. It's like, yes, you're right. That's what Satanism is. It is the worship of self, but it's so, you're correct. It is a selfish religion.
I was just wondering.
Yeah. You wanna watch some manifesting TikToks?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Is New Age what's New Age be Satanism then? Like it's kind of the same idea. Nah.
I mean, it's got similarities.
There's
lots of elements to New Age.
It's a false religion.
So, it's all a false religion. So
What happened if one of these girls saw our podcast and saw we put them on? What do you think they'll do?
Dude, if I could, it would be my dream. I said this on our first episode where we reacted to Brandon Robertson. I said it would be my dream for him to see our podcast and react and put us on. Dude, that would be sick. It really would be. I would love that. I would love to hear their thoughts on us, and that would be funny. We need to go back to Brandon Robertson, and we need to go... Trust us, we're getting back there. One of our next episodes we're going to do is we're going to go back on TikTok like hardcore, and we're going to watch TikTok the whole time. We're going to watch Brandon Robertson. We're going to watch some other people. We're going to get back into it. It's really fun. And we actually... Dude, remember the first episode? We said we were going to buy his book? His devotional book?
Didn't you buy his book?
I did buy the book. And we never read it on the podcast like we said we were going to. I have it right here, guys. This is a major throwback. Nighttime devotionals for teen boys. 5-minute devotions to guide daily reflection. I read like the first few, but I didn't really get into it because it's all he really buries the lead, you know? Like, this is all obviously to promote his screwed up worldview, but he does it by writing a lot of devotions that are kind of things you can't argue with. It's all about like God is love, and you know, those sorts of things that are like, yeah, for sure. Like, I'm not gonna argue with that. But it's kind of, but knowing him, you know what the idea of all of it is to promote, you know?
Yeah.
So let's get back on TikTok. This girl, this is a good one.
I think personally, the reason why things manifest quickly into
hear
my life is because I changed the way that I look at my current daily tasks. So for example, let's say I'm manifesting love into my life. I want to create the feeling of love in my own space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my cup of coffee, right? And I'm going to speak loving affirmations into my coffee before I drink it. If I put on an incense, if I put on a face mask, if I'm working, if I'm literally working, I'll look at it as, look at me trying to manifest wealth into my life. Like, this is what's going to bring me wealth.
You know, Derek, you already know that's my favorite part when she says that. Oh, we watched this one before and then we were like, okay, we have to watch more on the episode. We'll save it for the podcast. She's describing the concept of working a job as manifesting wealth into her life. Like, she's just working. Like, she's just doing her job. She has a job, she gets paid for it. And she is describing that as manifesting wealth into my life. Like, it's just, yeah, you're just working. You're going to work and getting paid. Oh.
The things people do for love, am I right?
Yeah.
You liked it.
I liked it. I meant to just play the video.
Into my life.
Oh,
and I
it's still
make
not done.
everything the be all end all as to why I'm going to get my manifestation. That way, I actually build a lot of trust in my subconscious mind. Everything is just constantly reinforcing the fact that this manifestation is already here. So I'm not adding anything into my daily routine. I'm replacing the meaning of what already exists.
I love when they say so much to say nothing. I love when they take the most simple concepts that take 4 words to explain, and they explain it this really complicated way. She uses all these sophisticated, intelligent sounding phrases and words that are very esoteric to describe the concept of, 1, working a job, having a job, and 2, just being positive. She's saying, I want these positive things to manifest in my life. So what I'm going to do is just, I want positivity to manifest in my life. And so I'm just going to be positive in everything I do. And then positivity will come. It's like, no, positivity is already there. You chose to be positive, and positivity is in your life. Like, that she's just describing the concept of being positive. She's saying, I want positivity in my life, so I'm just going to be positive. That's all she had to say. Just be positive. And then your life will be more positive. It's such a simple concept. But it has to be all about all that.
Man, that's funny.
Here's a method specifically on manifestation. Do you guys want?
How to manifest anything in 4 minutes?
How to manifest anything in 4 minutes? All right, Derek, pick something you want to manifest in 4 minutes, okay? What would you manifest? You manifest anything in 4 minutes. What do you get?
$1 million.
You don't want a girlfriend?
Let's see it.
Derek, before we started the podcast, Derek said he wanted that first girl to be his girlfriend. I'm just gonna put that out there. He did say that.
I'll take $1 million over a girl any day. Sorry.
It's surprising.
This video will receive a minimum of 50,000 likes. How do I know that? By what I'm about to tell you right now. I was scrolling through YouTube and came across this voice audio recording of Neville Goddard. For anybody who doesn't know him, Manifestation King, Law of Assumption King. The video was titled How to Manifest Anything in 4 Minutes. So obviously it caught my attention. I'm going to use the same title in this video. He compared manifesting...
Hold on. Did she just say... I think the TikTok went away. Did she just say that she's manifesting getting 50,000 likes, and she said, "How do I know?" Because
she got 860.
Because she used the same title as somebody. She just described stealing. She just stole somebody's clickbait title. She said it worked. It worked for him. It was clickbait for him, and it's gonna be clickbait for me. That's how I'm gonna get you guys to like the video. She just described clickbait. She just stole somebody's clickbait. She didn't do anything. She didn't manifest nothing.
For anybody who doesn't know him, Manifestation King, Law of Assumption King. The video was titled How to Manifest Anything in 4 Minutes. So obviously it caught my attention. I'm going to use the same title in this video. He compared manifesting something to being pregnant. All you have to do is to sit in a place, quietly laying down, closing your eyes, listening to music, not listening to music, it doesn't matter. Experience for at least 5 minutes the feeling of having your manifestation. For 5 minutes, give yourself time not to doubt. For 5 minutes, give yourself time to just...
For something that only takes 4 minutes, the first step is taking 5.
Wait, keep the video. Hey, I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I was a basketball player back in high school. Every single day I woke up, ever since I was probably in 6th grade, and say, I'm playing college basketball. I thought so hard on it. I thought so hard. For 7 years, I thought hard on it. And guess what happens? I didn't play college basketball. So, maybe I didn't think hard enough. Maybe this lady's got the gist, but I'm like...
You didn't sit for 5 minutes and then manifest it in 4 minutes. That's what you didn't. You didn't cram 5 minutes worth of things into 4 minutes. That's what you have to do. You have to be able to warp time to sit for 5 minutes and it'll only take 4.
Like you have it, because you do have it. You own it. You are God. But once those...
Hold on,
that's
hold
it
on,
right there.
Hold on.
Is he?
She just said it, bro.
What?
She just said it, bro.
She's a platypus.
Well, there you have it. I mean, from the...
That's a Buddha...
Satanism.
That's a Buddhist, like, we are all one.
Yeah, we're all God,
crazy,
all one.
dude.
But I mean, like, we don't believe in God, but I am God. That's what it's always been about. That's what everything anti-God has always been about. Treating yourself as God. People just don't get nothing, bro.
I often wonder, if someone works, so, like, a rapper, for example, if he works and he's like, oh, yeah, I manifest this to happen, like, what does he say about all his work? Because, like, when I hear, like, manifestation, I'm like, well, it's just handed to you, but do they just ignore everything, like, they did before to get to that point? Like, the amount of, like, work they put in? Like, I guess, what they reap is what they sow. I mean,
yeah. I mean, they didn't have some more self-respect, man. You put in some hard work to get where you are. Don't act like you just manifested it. You want to figure out how to... Bro, Derek, is there a special somebody out there that you want to text you?
Yeah, most definitely, man.
I know there is.
You gotta click on that.
Get them to text you tonight.
I swear, if I have to text them, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, text them first. I attract... Bro, some people be listening on Spotify. We gotta read this for them. Want them to text you tonight? Repeat these affirmations 3 times aloud. I attract communication from them effortlessly. They're reaching from their phone this very second. I am open to receiving their text. I have no doubt they'll text me by midnight.
Okay, we got...
There, go take your camera to a mirror.
At my time, it's midnight already, so do we have to wait for next midnight?
Well, whoever you're thinking of has a lot of time. They have 24 hours. My personally is 2 hours, so get on it.
Dang, dude. Guys, Dude, these are all women. What the heck?
Yeah,
dude,
look.
I didn't know.
That's exactly what I was saying. Women. I don't see any. Dude, there's a dude. We gotta see what the bro has to say.
Here we go.
This one has no audio.
This is good because I could barely read, so I like looking at pictures.
Oh, okay. We gotta draw it. We need to like compile all the information from all of these into one. You have to
Wait,
be
was he
drawing
not saying
while
that
you're
you're-
in the mirror? What'd you say?
Was he not like? I thought he was gonna make like a joke for it, but
Yeah.
was he being serious?
Yeah, he says when I found out
Oh.
manifestations happen faster when you draw them.
Oh man, that's crazy.
You want him to be addicted to you? See, manifesting money is really this easy.
Your checking account available balance is $12,617,290.56.
You just have to believe in the current moment. Oh, you just have to believe. Well, does she have $1 million? Does she have $12 million in the bank? See, this is what it's really about for some of these people. This person's comment: I release any blocks or self-sabotage in my whatever this is, some weird hippie word, and I manifest abundance. Please and thank you. See, this is what it's about. Instead of actually being a normal person who just grows and matures and stops being a bad person, they can just say, I release any toxic bad parts of myself so that all the money will come to me. Like, what?
I mean, the thing is, what about all those people, millions of people who, like, in a sense, do manifest? What's their excuse when it doesn't happen? Is like, you don't think hard enough?
Well, actually, I did
Or
see
you
one
don't
comment.
believe hard?
Yes, they'll say that you're manifesting wrong, you know. Why you're Well, Derek,
Oh,
I got the answer for you.
simplifying Sam. All right. Sam Tag,
Yeah.
if you're watching this, I greatly appreciate it. It's for you.
I actually saw one comment while this takes forever to load for some reason. I saw one comment that was like, what was your question? What do they say when it doesn't come true? They said, man, I'm manifesting, but you know, I wish we could not only they were saying I wish we could control when it comes true, not just what happens. You know, they were saying their manifestations come true, but just not when they want them to. So really, if it doesn't happen, then they could just say, well, it just hasn't happened yet. You know, sometimes they take time. 20 years from now, maybe I'll have some money, but even if it's not now. And then when it happens, they're like, gosh, manifesting just takes a long time sometimes, doesn't it? That's
Stop.
what they
If you're
say.
watching this video, it is because you are into law of attraction, and I'm going to share exactly what I wish I knew 5
That's
years
us.
ago
We're
in
into
this
that.
really quick video. I'm going to be sharing all of my steps for manifesting without any sort of techniques and be able to explain why manifestation hasn't been working for you so far. Okay, so a lot of the techniques that are out there on TikTok are all about scripting, listening to subliminal audios. All of them are keeping you in the chasing energy or lack mentality. They're all asking you to focus on the thing that you want, but while you are focusing on the thing that you want, you are in the energy of not having it. And so you are constantly hitting up against
Derek, we've been wrong all along. So you're in the chasing mentality. See, we shouldn't have been listening to any of these other ones. These other ones have been wrong. This is what it's at. You can't draw it out. You can't write it. You can't repeat it 3 times in the mirror. That's all acting like you don't already have it. So what you have to do is just do nothing. Genius.
up against a obstacle. Law of attraction only knows how to attract like with like. It doesn't really care whether you want that thing or you don't want that thing. Whatever you constantly think about and whatever vibration you are constantly emitting, it will match that. So this is why you believe by focusing on it, journaling about it, constantly thinking about it is going to attract it to you. But the entire goal of manifesting is to release resistance to that which you want so that it can flow to you or be attracted to you. It will not come by chasing after it, hustling for it, and burning out. So for just a minute, forget about every single thing you want and focus on these steps. Number 1, pay attention to what thoughts are inside of your head. Don't judge them, just notice them. Do they say, I'll never have enough money, I'll never have a perfect partner, I'll never have a great job? If you are hearing words, they are thoughts. Number 2, now ask yourself, do I believe these thoughts? And be honest. Most people believe their negative thoughts, and that's okay. But the next part is where most people get stuck. Manifestation teachers and coaches will just teach them that they need to believe in themselves. But this is where they get everything wrong. Going from here, not believing in yourself, not believing you're going to have enough money, the perfect partner, perfect job, to believing that you will eventually have $1 million, a perfect marriage, and all of that, it's way too far of a jump. You can't go from here to there. You have to stop in the middle. You don't believe this yet, so it's not going to be a vibrational match to your current energy. So we have to collapse the space between where you are and where you want to be in the middle. How do you do that? Well, first of all, you have to understand that the only...
When do they make TikToks 4 hours long? Who got me on that update? So really, it's this is what the article was saying, that so many of these just contradict each other. Like some of them saying that there's very rigid rules for how you have to do it. You have to write it this many times. You have to draw it this way. And then some of them are just like you have to do nothing. You just have to sit there and do nothing. Some of them are about putting things in your brain. Some of them you say you don't put anything in your brain. You have to remove things from your brain.
That's an interesting point though with her. So like, even though you like what you dwell on is usually what like we were saying in the midway through, I think, like what you dwell on is like it's not what's gonna come true in your life, but it's like in a sense like your thought life, you know, it like consumes you. So like the things you see, like if I, you know, consume myself with basketball, that's the only thing gonna be on my mind. You get me? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
No, yeah.
So I mean, she kind of made a point, but like her saying that, oh well, you know, just don't do anything, it happens. I mean, it just gives a lot of false, you know, whatever you call it, like, shoot, where's my mind going? Like a false, you know, a false hope, I'd say.
Yeah.
That's what I would say, because you don't even know, like that. Oh yeah, you can dwell on it, think on it, but you know.
Yeah. And that's
some point, yeah.
I mean, like you're saying, it gives people a false hope because it preys on very vulnerable people who want it preys on these vulnerable 14-year-olds on TikTok who prowl TikTok and look at all this stuff, who want their crush to text them back and they want to be rich, and sure, yeah, everybody wants that stuff. Like everybody, like sure, I would love to be rich, love for a girl to text me if I wanted, if there was a specific girl I wanted to text me, you know, but it just preys on these people, and then it doesn't happen, and then they have excuses for why it doesn't happen. We'll cut it off there.
Oh, and it says the universe. Yeah, but we can move on. But like,
the universe will make sure your soulmate doesn't show up in your life. Well, I thought the universe was on my side. Come on.
Yeah.
What about? I thought the universe and me were homies. I thought that was the whole point.
Yeah. At the beginning of the school year at IPY, literally, like, some girl was like talking about the universe. It was the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Like, yeah, you know, the universe, you know, I can just feel it. I can feel its presence and all this. I was like,
I'm glad.
All right then.
Good for you, bud. Oh, what's our verse for the episode? I'm so frustrated because I thought I was going to get my crush to text me back, but then one of them said that the universe doesn't even want that to happen, but then the other one was saying the universe does, so I just need a Bible verse.
Just need a Bible verse. Man, you know, I thought me and my girlfriend's going to last, but, you know, she broke my heart. Go with someone else. Like, see, like, I don't think they would do well in explaining the negative that happens.
Yeah, just, like there was like the article we first started with was pretty critical of it. Later on in the article, we didn't get to the critical part of the article, but it was talking about how like these ideas fall apart under the slightest pressure. Like the girl, the first TikTok we watched, I think we started off with that. That was linked in the article, was about how you subconsciously manifested this video coming to your For You page, like. And you've basically manifested everything that's ever happened in your life. And then she got a ton of crap in the comments because people were like, she was saying, you've unconsciously manifested everything that's happened in your life. And people were saying, I manifested X, Y, and Z really traumatic experiences that I've had. And then she had to clarify, okay, no, you actually don't manifest your trauma. It's like, okay, so what? Only the good things that have happened in my life are manifested, and then the bad things are just like, it's totally contradictory. And then the belief, the true believers in these ideas talk about how, you know, sickness is the result of your energies in your head, and it's like cancer patients have died because they didn't vibe hard enough with the universe. Like, it's pretty messed up thinking.
Dude, that's awful.
It's terrible.
I wonder what they would say if you asked someone, what about my parent, or like if you're like given something like some horrific event. Okay, let's use me for example. I just went through a horrific event in the hospital. I feel like I did nothing wrong, sitting there 40 days, almost died. What are you gonna say? I thought that. Then they'll be like, well, what did you do? Well, I did have a Subway sandwich. Oh, you thought you were gonna have a Subway sandwich, so you had a Subway sandwich, and that's why you had it.
There, it's because you didn't do what the one girl did with her coffee. You didn't hold it to your mouth and whisper nice things to it. That's why the E. coli was still in there. You didn't affirm the E. coli away.
Every time I get a Subway sandwich now, I'm gonna be like, no E. coli, no E. coli, no E. coli. And be like,
which is really, it's so funny because these people, like we said, everybody serves somebody. Everything is going to be religious at the end of the day. Okay, I mean, get serious for a second. Everything they do, and they're like, oh, I don't believe in organized religion. I don't believe in God and the devil and all this stuff like that. But then the stuff they do, she's giving her positive manifesting affirmations over her drink before she drinks it. We literally pray over our food before we eat. Like, we ask God to bless our food. They are literally a religion. Like, that religion is religion, and they act like it's some completely separate thing that's actually more woke. And it's like, no, you pray before you eat. You meditate on your beliefs. You do all this stuff that we all like. It's all religion. You can see the religious aspects of all of it all the time, but the only difference is theirs is a religion where they worship creation, and ours is a religion where we worship the Creator. And that will be our verse of the day, the verse of the episode, which is Romans 1:24 and 25. Like I read this one earlier. Therefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness in the lust of their hearts to dishonor their bodies, who exchanged the truth of God for the lie and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Guys, I hope that you manifested this video subconsciously onto your YouTube recommended page. I hope that I hope that you manifest this onto your Facebook and Instagram pages. I hope that you manifest our promotional posts onto your stories. I hope that you really just get all your friends manifesting our new episode. And let's just manifest 1,000 subscribers. All right, that's the manifestation of the day. Have a good week, guys. We'll see you next Monday. I love TikTok.